Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Arsi as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. It's from an act named Portishead titled Glory Box, live at Roseland, New York, NY. And we're going to listen through this track from start to finish. I'm going to hear what we think. As it is a live performance, I'm keen to hear more, so let's go. That turntablism is kind of just the filthiest fuzzy guitar, isn't it? And like the combination of the organ, the wah wah wah, that could be guitars to be fair, like, but we had the fuzziness of guitars, you know. I think it's organ, guitar, strings, as well as the perkiness of the drum tone and the vocals that are quite scintillating with that turntablism. And the flutter there, you know, this constant tension. What I appreciate about the solo, and I'm not sure if it's over, but just how we were talking at the start of it, and then it proceeded to then go into a melodic part there. I just thought it was interesting tonally and texturally. interesting phasing here.
It's time to move over. 'Cause it's all I'm so tired of playing.
What I appreciate about that is that there was just this rise, and then it just went nowhere. It averted expectations. I don't really know a lot about Portishead, but they seem like an intriguing act. The crowd is very happy with it.
Gonna give my heart away, leave it to the other girls to play. For I've been a temptress too long. Just give me a reason to love you. Give me a reason to be.
That was the track.
Thank you very much. Sorry, it was a bit dodgy in places. My fault.
So, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't hear the mistakes that she thought she made. Is that meant to be the final performance, I suppose? What's really fascinating, just before we go into the conclusion, is how the crowd was sitting there appearing to academically analyze it. There was very little raw emotion displayed by the people who are on display there. It's just a situation where I think that for them it was more of like almost like a cult following. Like it was their moment and sit in the environment, the atmosphere, and just revel and relish it. It's an interesting situation I don't see with a lot of bands. It's an interesting band. We're going to talk more about this track though in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Portishead, titled Glory Box, the live performance at Roseland NY, New York, I suppose. I could be wrong there. What do I think this track is about? I think it's basically about her wanting whoever she's talking to treat her like a woman, to show some vulnerability, to make her feel like a woman, you know, have that sensuality to it, that vulnerability, that touch, that connection there, and whatever else is sort of involved with that. I think that's basically what we're trying to discuss here. The way that she describes it is very intense, you know. She's not overboard and completely like overzealous with the way she explains things or like communicates with you. You look at her and her entire body and being is focused on being that person she's trying to sort of talk about, or rather being herself. And it's very authentic, and you get the feeling this is her singing from the heart. You know, in a way it sounds a bit tacky me saying that, but it's like you get the impression that she wants to be there to let you into her world and to understand what she's going through, and she wants you, whoever she's singing to be that person to make her feel like a woman. It's very intimate. It's rare that you get that level from musicians nowadays. And I say that being aware that a lot of musicians nowadays have really mastered the art of having that occur. And it's not like it's a unique thing in the sense of the grand scheme of things. Lots of musicians can get the crowd involved and lost in their world. It's just, this was a very a wonderful example of how it can be done. The way that we emoted felt appropriate for it. We could clearly sing. We had really solid vocal technique. There didn't need to be any other vocal parts. The main and the center was enough for the 4.5 minutes without a note out of place. And there was interesting bits of vibrato as well, vocal technique shown there, which demonstrate we clearly understand what we're doing there. And anything we have there is deliberate, and phenomenal dynamic range as well. The track itself at 5 minutes, well, it's 4.5 minutes, I think, 4.5 to 5 minutes there. We had a mixture of turntables, guitar, bass, drums, some strings, and probably a few other elements there I may not have mixed there. I think we had some different, we looked like we had different keys like organs there as well. The organs had this interesting bit of sort of like vibrato, kind of warbling or tremolo to them, like wow, 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 you know, they were very occasional. We weren't trying to make anything apart from the vocals a lead element aside from the guitar solo when that came in. The strings that we had there, when the organ was more of a textural thing, a sound in the ether there, much like the turntablism where we had at the start there, almost as a rhythmic device, including some notes in there that synced really nicely with the overall harmony, but it was never meant to sort of change the direction of the song too much. It was like a bit of decoration. The guitars that we had there were, I mean, the lead solo springs to mind to me. The solo was incredibly impactful there. We had a wonderful display of both how to get the guitar to sound like it's talking, kind of feeding off or transferring from the singer to the lead guitar there, that first bit there, doing the transfer, trying to be respectful to the original intent of the lead, but then having its own way of phrasing its sort of its unison bends to work within the chord progressions of the track there. And we had a wonderful sort of like somber theme in the background there that was, muddled with majors and minors, but never sounding too bright or too dark, I suppose. The bass was nice and respectful to the root notes within the progressions, and there wasn't a whole lot of change within those. I mean, there was adjustment of the other instrumental layers, but it was also at the same time fairly consistent. Once we had our key moments there, we had a mood that was kind of shepherded throughout. Aside from that main sort of build in the middle, we had synths or like samplers or like more sort of turntable-y stuff, and then the strings fluttering with a slow crescendo. And then we came back down after that. It was phenomenal dynamic range to the performance. Very tight performance overall from the different instrumentalists involved. There's also just the drummer who managed to keep it nice and present on the kit there. We pocketed for the majority of the time some interesting 16th note grooves there, but never too much, sort of outpaced us, outstayed their welcome there. It was all about allowing the singer to have a podium to sitting on to be the focal point, whilst also adding more to the piece in a way that was productive. The mood of the track with the somber, low-key, almost jazzy elements there, the influence of, again, the strings there with turntablism, which is not something I hear often. It's an interesting combination of elements. This might have been sort of a more experimental style that Portishead were going for there, or just messing with different sounds. With the bass and the guitar lead, though, things became a bit more sort of grounded. The combination of those extensions there mirrored a sense of complexity there. The warmth of the tones inferred we wanted to be held. It was, and the slowness of the tempo implied there that it was like a slow dance. We're sitting there in that room alone, and we just really wanted to have that moment, that connection there. So to me, I think that when I consider what I've said there with the lyrics, with the vocals, I think that everything makes a lot of sense, and I can understand why it was both well received by the audience and why it's a good song. I think it's a great song. They've done really well. I'm a little bit it'd be good to hear more of Portishead, because I'm not sure if I necessarily personally love this song. I think it's one of those tracks where like you have to be there for the whole album to really appreciate the song within its context. But I suppose if you also look at it alone, it works wonderfully within its own sort of restraints. But yeah, great performance, not out of place. The studio recording, mixing and mastering is nice and tight, especially for a live performance. I think that things were handled incredibly well, adeptly. The vocals, guitar, bass, drums, strings, keys, and the DJ decks, they're all nicely leveled within and handled to a commercial standard. Things were nice and wide in the stereo field. Things were nicely balanced within the frequency spectrum with no weird resonant frequencies, and the leveling overall within the mix was tight. And, there was dynamic range. Things were not the same last the entire time. After that massive build there, we came down. Things were kind of chill for a bit there. And, it was still nice and loud, though, without pumping. So there's, the bus compression limiting is handled. I mean, effectively, this is just a review of this track for an act named Portishead titled Glory Box. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show us some love via the various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either have more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SC Patrons video. Spiderhands out.